The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Good morning. It's Thursday, the third day of November. Welcome to the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Lindos. I'm Sancha Durham, and she's Sherry Vanderpool, and I would say Maya, but we're going to say Jamal will be here with us in a bit to bring you the latest in his news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning, Sancha. The takeoff. Take over, right?
They weren't expecting this today.
No, they wasn't. We're going to do the takeoff and the takeover. How about that? How you been?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Since I seen you, I've been on, I wouldn't say a vacation. It wasn't a vacation. I've been on a trip.
Yeah.
I had Halloween. It's been a lot. Did you see Halloween too?
I did. It was the commitment for me. Like, you just didn't put on the costume, Sancha. Like, you had the whole, like, stance, the whole, and all of that type of stuff. Were you listening to hear about my Halloween debacle?
No, what happened?
Silence. Nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah, nothing. I have a whole thing of candy. But nevertheless, we're going to move on and say greetings to everyone. And thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We have another good one today as we welcome Courtney Minors on the show to discuss polycystic ovarian syndrome. I've been practicing that. I had a Jamal moment. The daily play is for Sancha. See if we could trip up Sancha. But Sancha, it is Name That Place.
I thought we had an agreement.
Oh, we weren't going to do that?
That we always do the feud, Ben is you and I.
No, but you're going to get this one. It's very easy.
Jamal talk you into craziness?
No, I didn't. But I'm telling you, I'm Sancha. I feel like Jamal right now because this is something that he would say I would do. This, I'm telling you, it's easy. Okay. It's easy. I'm telling you.
The setup. The setup.
Okay. Audience, please send Sancha good sprinkles this morning. Good sprinkles.
I said yesterday, was it yesterday? I thought we were like Thelma and Louise.
You did say yesterday.
And
it was yesterday.
You were proving that I need to rethink this.
No, just give me today. Just give me today. We'll figure it out. But as we know, today is Thursday, and of course, it is Throwback Thursday. I love a good throwback. And it brings just that nostalgic feel that we miss and makes us feel good.
You know what I look forward to on a Throwback Thursday? I'm like, okay, it's Thursday, right? I know DJ Chubb is going to be playing throwbacks. Yes. And I know people are going to be posting throwback pictures on their WhatsApp status. I live for the Throwback Thursday pictures.
I do too. I do and I don't, Sandra, but I'll tell you why afterwards. So our question of the morning for our lovely audience is, what are some of the things that youth of today have missed out on and you wish they could have experienced? This was the time before social media, video phones, cameras.
Good.
There's a lot of undocumented material of myself. Praise Lord. Exactly. But tell us, Sancho, tell us.
For me, there's a few things. I guess we can kind of go back and forward about it, but I remember May 24th, right?
Yeah.
I remember it used to end, well, it probably still ends. It ends towards Bernard's Park, not at Bernard's Park. So it used to end at Bernard's Park. They used to
Right.
have like all the food vendors and stuff afterwards, right? But my mom sews. I don't have a lick of sewing in me. My mom
Not a lick.
not a lick. My mom used to take me to get a pattern, right? So she used to
Hmm.
cut out the pattern. We used to get the material, and she used to make my outfit every cut match and every May 24th. And I feel like that was a thing that we used to do, like get our outfits made.
Yes.
Right. You used to design it, used to so that I used to love. And you know what else I used to love? After the parade, everybody used to go to Teal's Hill, and I have a picture of me. I was probably about 14, probably shouldn't have been there, but my dad in the building, like up, or he stood us up on Teal's Hill, and I'm standing outside, and it's a flood of people where Playboy
Wow.
Song is across the street playing music for the whole of Court Street. To like, when I tell you vibes,
Wow.
that that
And
was good.
I was saying, for those who may not know who Playboy Sound is, can you explain just a little, not too much?
I top and Kachi. Remember that?
I do.
That's
I
a
do.
remember band. You guys could have
Oh,
got me on Playboy, High Top and Kachi. They used
yeah.
to have the wickedest dubs. They used to come up with stuff, and you're like, where that came from? You know what I
So
mean?
I
They want
think even for us, I think Sancho's talking in a different language to some out there. So these are two DJs that are playing music, and dubs would be songs that you would hear their names in over basically favorite songs that everyone likes, and the
But
crowd
back
goes
then,
crazy.
it wasn't social media, right? Where you were able to reach out to artists like quickly and be
Yeah,
like, "Oh, okay, on Facebook or Instagram, I'm so and so. Can I pay you to do a dub?" Like you really had to have relationships of somebody knew somebody that can call somebody in Jamaica and you can get this dub plate done. Like it was
yeah,
a real thing. Like things have changed and technology and social media has made things so much easier.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and
what's
I think you bring
this? Or
Well,
you
I just want to piggyback from what you said and kind of highlight some things, right? So what I hear you saying is that the human element and networking have would be something that the youth are missing out now, right? So
yeah,
their networking part is a little bit faster than what it would have been for
yeah,
us,
yeah.
and the
I
networking,
feel like
but
those relationships aren't as authentic today as they were of, past
and
days.
that's what I was going to say. So you would meet somebody on the island, you would get to know them, they would then call somebody, can I call you, and so forth. And when they got to Bermuda, you may have taken them to some of the favorite restaurants back then,
Mhm.
um, i.e. the Spots or Mr. Chicken, or all of those kind of places. And you would sit and you would have these conversations about what you would want. For me, it would definitely have to be again, the dances, like having these sessions, or for people that were dances were really important for me. I loved the networking. I loved the togetherness. I loved just people having a good time.
You loved Clay House.
I did. I did. Clay House was not only a place where youth were able to go have a good time, but we have to admit they had good shows. I saw Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper. I mean, the list goes on. So
Remember they
I
used to have
think
those fashion shows on there?
there's fashion shows, and it goes back to kind of some of the things that you guys talked about yesterday, right? When you talk about and Mr. Griffith said, bring the people, bring the vibes, you know what I mean? And we were the people, and the vibes were there in Clay House. But I would
Mm.
love to hear from the audience, so I hope the audience are putting in their Throwback Thursday thoughts and wishes, and things that they wish that the youth of today definitely experience. And mine had to be, like I said, a good time.
Yeah. I miss because I live in Somerset.
Mhm.
My parents used to take me on weekend staycations at the Marriott. Remember Marriott Hotel?
I do. I do.
I used to go,
Yeah.
and they had a restaurant downstairs. I can't remember the name of it, but it
It's
was my
not
first
Makadas.
Makados. Yes,
Yes.
Makados. My first time eating sushi and sitting at a teppanyaki bar, like at that
Yes.
table. I missed that, and the food was so good. I don't know if I was just really young, but the food was so good. Yeah.
Well, and Sunshine, I think again, you bring up another thing. My parents used to take me, or my mom, well, my dad as well. Particularly, my mom worked at Southampton Princess, as we talk about that second job, right? So she
Mhm.
used to be a cashier at the various restaurants. She used to take us to the restaurants so that we knew how to eat when we went out.
Yes.
We knew what fork to use, what spoon to use, what to ask, how to order off a menu. My father did the same thing. And do you know where my father used to take us at least once a month?
Where?
New Queen Chinese restaurant.
Oh my goodness. I have pictures from New Queen. You remember New
What? The white bread with butter? Yes, ma'am.
Queen? This is going off a little bit. One of my first introductions into entertainment. This is where like I fell in love with entertainment. My dad used to work up at Southampton Princess
Yeah.
with the Bermuda Follies.
Yes. Yeah. My mom used to work there as well. Not as
Yes.
a folly, but
Yep. She didn't have their little costumes on.
no, she didn't. So when you discussed dinner and a show yesterday, that's immediately where my mind went,
Yes, remember
was
back
to the
in the day,
Follies.
the
Yes.
Follies were like that was a show. You know,
Yeah.
I remember being so young, but the feathers, the glitter, the glam, it was like I was sitting there in awe, and that was like my introduction to like this is entertainment, and I knew
Well,
there like I wanted to be a promoter.
so we have to shout out to Onika. She would have been a painter back then. She's
Yeah.
Onika Trott. She was definitely a Follies, the one that does O Faces. She
Yes,
was a Folly.
and
Yes.
She's Kim Durham now. She was a Folly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a
So
few.
that's,
Ah.
oh, how
So
about
Sean Smith says, inter-school sports at the Old National Stadium. We got the day off to go and cheer our school athletes on.
Shawana?
Sean, let me say this. I am jealous because I went to private school and I used to be jealous that everybody was at inter-school sports and I was just dreaming about it. I never experienced it.
Oh, I did. And it was everything. Do you understand everything? Feel like we had some at White Hill. I think we had some at White Hill, but it was definitely also at Nationals. Like, and I just talking about Nationals, I remember the old National
Yes, sir.
Stadium. When they had the bar and the place on the top and you was able to look down on the field or the clubhouse, I guess, at that time. But when you talk about National Stadium, my earliest memory goes back to again 24th of May, where 24th of May used to end at National Stadium back in the day. Do you recall that or know about that, Santa?
Nope.
Okay. So
I
it
just
did.
know Oz Park.
Okay. So I'm glad I'm having this conversation with you because Jamal will be like,
Oh,
gas,
I
gas, gas.
do. I
Okay,
am right.
awesome.
I was in the parade. Yes, I remember starting on the that stretch by right before Devonshire Rack. It started
Frog Lane.
yeah, sorry. I knew that. I knew that.
You knew that. But the day after 24th of May, I used to go down there and pick up the trash.
Okay.
And what was wonderful about that, you would find all kinds of money. I used to put money in my pocket.
Exactly.
And it used to be a bunch of kids. And at that time, I lived at Mary Victoria Road. So that was on the back end. So,
So yes,
morning.
it
Go
was at
ahead, Sancha.
due to renovations at National Stadium. But
Thank
you
you,
know what?
Bernadette.
reminded me that that was one of the first years. So we did Drumline Bermuda, and we had one of the marching bands in the May 24th parade. That was the thing.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to whatever band we would bring in, they would be in the May 24th parade. And when I tell you, those horns and those drums used to come, like
I
come.
know.
Yeah.
But I miss the majorettes, those kind of
Mhm.
things. I miss majorettes. But you know
Yeah.
what else kind of comes to mind? It's just Bermuda in general, right? Throwback Thursday or throwback on Bermuda in general. I know again, and I keep referring to yesterday because I feel like they're kind of one and the same, right? I know that you spoke about wanting to bring back some of the things that were just so great for us. And I know Mr. Grump was saying that we have to move past those things. Right? And I definitely understand where he's coming from in regards to progression. But it's still, I think, for us as Bermudians, we hold on to that good feel that Bermuda was about. And I'm spoken about going to town on Saturday. And it'd
Mhm.
be a whole situation. And the
Get
situation, I
dressed up,
mean,
right?
you dressed up. You couldn't go to town without looking your best. You would have some money to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. You would have some money to go down to FC Footwear to buy those white sneakers that only have one or two uses, and then you could wash them and put them out on the line. It was those times where you couldn't find a parking space in Hamilton at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So
What
it's good
um
feelings.
what about Jack and Jill's? Yeah, you used to go to Jack and
Yes.
Jill's for candy after school?
Not after school because again, I lived in Rockaway and I went to Sands,
Uh-huh.
so
Well,
I didn't
Jack
get
and
time on
Jill
time.
every day after school. And I remember I used to get pissed off because they used to like you have to leave your school bag outside. It was but I still went for those candies.
Well, I had a Cedar Parkade moments, but go ahead, Sancha.
So South Shore Mr. Twist.
Yes,
Yeah,
from Chic Arena. Yes,
fudge shop in the annex. I don't remember that. You remember that? Fudge shop in the annex.
yes,
Games room was my favorite. I remember the
yes. Angeline Butler. Yeah, games room. And then how about the games? Is she talking about up at Southampton Princess, or we had another games room on
I
South
remember
Street?
it was a games room where was it where Dockstar
Yes,
is?
that might have been the 40 Thieves Club back in the day.
You know why I remember? Hold on,
So
let's
no, what? So Nicole Walker says the air show down at the base
yeah.
was always an exciting outing. Nicole, do you want me to tell you what else was exciting down at the base? Mickey D's, McDonald's.
Remember, I used to live for that air show, those planes, and
Yes.
like that was a thing. I remember I used to be excited when they was having like the open day where you could come down to the base and they had the air show. It was
Wasn't
amazing.
it wasn't it based kind of like a mystery to you? Like I'm just like, I wonder. Then, when you used to see the yellow school bus as well. So we have Ebony Souza that said bumper boats in Heron Bay.
I
Ebony
that one.
might be a little bit older than me. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that. But I'm gonna research it. I'm gonna ask around about that one.
Heron Bay bumper boats. I don't recall. Go ahead, Sancha. Sean
It's Sean
Smith.
Smith. Remember, every year they used to have high school football games on at PHC at night. What was the tournament called?
That's for Sancha because I am not a football person.
I don't know, but I do remember.
Because you
But
used to get dressed up and go, right?
but they have lights again, so maybe PHC's having night games again. Maybe this is something that they can rethink.
That would be awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's that good old feeling of um, what I want people to leave with, or what I would love for the youth to get, is that good feeling that we had
Mhm.
that didn't encompass social media, that it didn't take away from having a good time together without it ending in some type of disagreement, fight, or anything like that. We just had
I
good
mean, no,
fun.
they happened, but they
It
were.
did.
It was not as serious as it gets today. We didn't know
Yeah.
what guns. We didn't know, like, it was a helmet. You got in there,
Right.
and that was it.
Machete here and there.
You ran. You're like, listen, I'm not sticking around for this, right? Now it's like recorded.
I
Yeah.
know.
And it
I
was
know.
over the next day. You matter how
Wow.
washed it and it was over. So yeah,
Well, guys, it's almost time for the
now,
news.
now it's time for the news break. Brought to you by People's Pharmacy with Jamal. Jamal H. Good morning, Jamal. Are you gonna
Good
tell
morning,
us
Jamal.
of yesteryear?
Well, it's the Daily Hour news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. You guys are old.
Takes an ill one to know one.
I mean,
like
I'm sitting
that
back
is
here
good.
listening, and I'm just like,
Jamal, can I share something with the audience?
sure.
Jamal does not know who Migos is.
Oh, they learned that yesterday or the day before.
Now,
Yeah.
hold on, I'm not finished.
Oh.
Jamal only listens to stuff like Boys to Men.
Yeah. They know that, right? I hope they know that.
Jamal.
Oh, that's not true. I listen to Luther.
Who's
I listen to Luther.
old?
I listen to Trey Songz.
Jamal, what do you miss of yesteryear?
Real music.
Yeah, I can say that too. Music
Yeah.
and instruments,
Music
right?
changed, man. I mean, honestly, I pretty much would listen to a Biggie and Pac song almost every day. Like that's energy, soca, old calypso. But I just can't get into music today. I don't like nothing about it. I don't like I literally program music for people on a daily basis, and even the messaging in the music, no matter how good a beat is, like it's just I can't get into it.
And I do. I love a live band, but I do love a live band when there is a mixture of hip hop and R&B and everything all together. I love to see a hip hop artist or a rapper with a live band. It does something for me. Jay-Z did it best.
I think, Jamal, you have a really good point. Like, I know for me, my son, I don't let him listen to that type of music. Obviously, he hears like hip hop, like modern day hip hop, when he goes places and stuff, and he knows how to get sturdy and all that other craziness. But in the household, he's very much so Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder. He can
Chris
tell
Brown and all,
Bruno Mars.
Asha.
Yeah, so we listen to real music so that his foundation of music is solid.
And I think the music industry, Tupac told us like over 30 years ago how it operates. There's R&B is not dead. The people that push out the music, I'm not gonna go there, but the people who are in charge of the music and push it out, they determine what we listen to. And so, like, the music's still great. It's better if you ask me. It's just that it's not getting pushed out in front. We don't own media. We don't own the platform. So therefore, we only have access.
Yeah, I think Kanye is learning that.
Yeah. There you go, right? Ownership's important, bro. But
yeah.
Yeah.
You have good news for us today, Jamal.
Oh, right. That's why I'm here, right? My apologies. You can see they kicked me out listening to them talk about the old lives. Anyway, it's the Daily Hour news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Folks, did you know Her Excellency, the governor, has tested positive for COVID-19? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. According to a statement released by Government House, the governor will continue to work remotely, but will not be attending any in-person events or meetings until she receives a negative test result. So under Section 19A of the Constitution, the governor has authorized the deputy governor, Mr. Tom, I didn't even know we had one. Who's Tom Oppenheim? To attend the convening of the legislature scheduled for Friday, November 4th, 2022, and to read the throne speech on her behalf. Well, I'll say this much before I do my little opinion on the news, but we're all wishing Her Excellency well during this time. But I forgot the throne speech was tomorrow.
It's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
But how not shocking is it that she has COVID. Like, remember there was a time where it was like,
Yeah, I remember hearing this news before, so it's not the first time.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, I'm not saying anybody wants to get COVID, but
It's here.
she probably didn't want to read that stupid speech anyway. But that's me. And other news, I'm sorry, you guys. Maya's gonna get on me. You know, she tell me news is not about your opinions, man. I'm trying. Okay, here we go. No opinion here. In other news, the Regulatory Authority of Bermuda yesterday published the findings of its market review, a high-level snapshot of the economic contribution of the electronic communications sector in Bermuda. So this includes fixed network market, mobile sector, broadband market, and business connectivity. So the market review actually covers topics such as employment, the number of full-time staff employed in the sector between 2019 and 2021. That should be interesting. The taxation contribution, the total fees provided to the Bermuda government over the last 3 years, and then the capital investment, so the expenditure in the EC sector in 2021, and total number of subscribers per market. Also, along with that, you have the total revenue for the EC sector. So if you want to read the entire market review, you can visit the ra.bm. I know not what most of that stuff means, folks.
Listen, I was like,
okay. I was gonna say,
you were speaking a different language.
Okay.
Thank you, Jamal, because I was like, what is he saying? What is he talking about?
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't know as well, because I do feel like, you know, you read probably a little bit more and you're maybe just a tad, like a here, probably more in tune to this stuff. I was going to say smarter, but I didn't want to say that. And so this makes me feel great. Okay, go ahead. Carry on.
Seriously, I was just like, what is he saying?
Well, I mean, it's one thing we all want to know is, number one, how much money government was paid from those fees we pay. We do want to know that. And I'm interested to know how many people were employed in the sector then versus now too. So, I mean, there's some things that we could figure out. Well, I mean, I'm keeping it short. That's all I have in the news break. But I would share the weather with you, but Sandra's just going to look out her damn window anyway to tell you what it is.
What's the weather today, Jamal?
I don't know. Sandra, look out there and let us know, because that's what I'm going to tell you all do. That's your daily hour news break brought to you by Peoples. What's the weather looking like?
It's bright and sunny.
Okay, bright and sunny.
Not like yesterday, but okay. So
that was a moment though. I mean, Maya's like, wow, it's da-da-da. And Sandra looks, I'm like, yeah, she basically telling Maya, nah, play it ain't looking like that up here.
No. So, thank you, Jamal. So Sherry, do you have a days of the year for us today?
I do, and I'm a little excited about this. Today is Sandwich Day. Who doesn't like a good sandwich? So never underestimate the power of a good sandwich. There's certainly something special about the best of the world's toppings being piled between two slices of delicious bread, especially if it's homemade. Pastrami on rye, but mayonnaise as a salad dressing, of course, you bet. Slices of pickles, very American, right? But bacon or just about anything, of course. The fact of the matter is, it's enjoyable when it's in, and almost certainly good to be enjoyed when dressed up for the bowl in bread and toppings. National Sandwich Day celebrates them all. So I want the audience to please let us know what your favorite sandwich is. Sancha, you don't seem like a sandwich person.
I'm like, Sherry, are you reading the room? Because Jamal and I like.
Jamal makes.
Well,
yeah,
I thought of it. I'm not a sandwich person, never been, until Bermudians came up with the idea as I got older for a fried fish sandwich on raisin bread. So I'm not that American sandwich person. I'm not eating a damn turkey or ham on that crap that people put the tea in bread.
Really? Roast beef pastrami?
What? Everything that you mentioned
What
just
is
now.
that?
I don't eat mayonnaise. I don't eat pastrami.
Yeah.
I don't eat bacon. I'm just like, ugh. But my mother, when she says she's making sandwiches, she uses like fresh turkey or fresh chicken, and she puts it on. I'm like, yes, please.
What about a tuna? No tuna?
It's in it, ain't it?
Anyway,
some people would do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But my mom has to make it, or Ressa. So Jesse's mom used to make amazing tuna. But yeah, I'm not. When I was younger, my mom couldn't give me sandwiches.
Peanut and
They got
My
a peanut
mama
and
does
banana
peanut
and
butter
raisin
and
bread.
banana. My mama does that. Shonette.
They got
Yes.
a Subway veggie.
Okay.
To
So,
me, it defeats the purpose.
seriously, what is pastrami? What is that, pork or beef?
Beef.
Mm.
So I love a pastrami sandwich, but I don't like rye bread. It's something about that. I definitely love a turkey with some onion, lettuce, tomatoes, some cheese. I'm very light on the mayonnaise, to be honest. And let me tell you real quick, throwback, high school, I used to make sandwiches and take them to school, but I used to put butter on it instead of mayonnaise because I like mayonnaise, but not that. A friend of mine in class used to beg me for my sandwich, and she would call them the butter sandwiches. Like, did you bring some of those butter sandwiches? I used to start bringing like 2 and 3 of them. Until to this day, she's like, Sherry, those butter sandwiches used to be on point. But I do like a good tuna.
Can we call the police on her with all that nonsense?
No,
Remember when Bermuda weddings only had finger sandwiches at receptions, egg salad and tuna? I do.
There's a wedding planner in my household, and I always try to get her to understand what the traditional Bermuda wedding was like. Nothing beats a wedding out PCC
and mineral soda.
Yeah, remember those
mineral.
Guys, can I since I'm only got like 5 minutes today, can I give a quick joke, please?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I thought he was.
Go ahead, now.
Just 2 seconds.
Make us laugh.
Okay, here we go.
Make us laugh.
They let me do it. They let me do it. All right, here we go. What did the green beans say to each other on Christmas?
The green beans say
to
each other.
Yep.
Let's bean it.
Nope. Peas on earth.
Don't laugh.
Dear pause. What? Funny.
Say pause like that one. Pause. Hey, let me go. You all have a great show. Hey, look. I might not be back. I'm gonna audition. I'll let you all. All right.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jamal. We'll take a quick commercial break. But please stay tuned for our conversation today with Miss Courtney Minors discussing PCOS.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's. We're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will keep you right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. She's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. Bill got her birthday and Christmas from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Daddy Town Field. Number 6, Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
I say no to plastic because I grew up in the most beautiful place on earth, and I want the next generation to enjoy swimming at a pristine Clearwater beach like I did as a kid.
There are studies that are showing that plastics are having impacts on fertility rates.
We're going to have decades before these chemicals are out of our system. I think we really need to prioritize it so that we can see a future.
Ocean health and human health are intimately interconnected. And if the ocean is healthy, we're healthy.
We've looked at over 250 fish in 12 different species, and 40% of them had plastic in their gut.
In the past, single-use plastic was a convenience tool. It's not a convenience anymore. It's hurting our ocean, and we need to stop. A little change makes a big difference. S-U-P, single-use plastics.
And welcome back to the big show. She is Sandra Durham, and I am Sherry Vanderpool. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communication, Linda's, and People's Pharmacy.
If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed on our website, thedailyhour.com, so you don't miss a chance for any updates, promotions, prizes, and more. Also, if you're on the go and can't watch us, that's okay. Download the BCG radio app, available for both Android and Apple devices, and you can listen to us every single day live, every episode. Also, don't forget, if you become a loyalty member on YouTube by picking one of the paid subscriptions that best suits you.
All right, make sure you push those buttons. So now let's welcome our guest, Miss Courtney Minors. Can we get a round of applause back there?
Hello.
There we go.
We get no breaks.
None. We got to keep him in line, right? Well, welcome to the Daily Hour. As we talked about, you've been here before with us.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Thank you for having me. I thought it was this year, but I was, told it was last year. So,
but we're doing the takeover today, so it's going to be nothing but, of course, women, girl power, all of that great stuff, and hearing about things that definitely affect us as women. So you're here to discuss with us about the polycystic ovarian syndrome, such a mouthful, but commonly known as PCOS. And for those who don't know, can you explain to us what that is?
Sure. Yeah. So just a little bit on my background. I am a registered dietitian. I've been practicing for over a decade, and this is my specialty, PCOS. So PCOS is, like Sherry said, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And while the name contains the word ovary, it's not actually a reproductive disorder. It's a very complex metabolic endocrine disorder that is extremely common. About 1 in 10 women in the US and UK have PCOS. In some countries like India, it's up to 1 in 20, 1 in 5. So it's very common syndrome. And basically, it's characterized by 3 specific criteria in order to be diagnosed. So you would need to have irregular or missing periods going more than about 35 days without a cycle. You would need to have hyperandrogenism, which is an increase in those male-like hormones in the body, like testosterone, leading to some of those symptoms associated with PCOS, like excess hair growth, severe acne, hair on the body, male pattern hair loss. And then thirdly, you would have to have what they call cysts on the ovaries, which are in fact not cysts, but immature follicles, because typically in PCOS, a lot of women do not ovulate. So you're basically left with these immature follicles that form on the ovaries. So if you have 2 out of 3 of those criteria, you can be diagnosed with PCOS. Like I said, it's extremely common, and it's the #1 cause of anovulatory fertility in women. So it's definitely something, that a lot of women experience and find out they have it when they're trying to get pregnant, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. And, it's very interesting to have this conversation. I have had a few friends that have come and tell me that they have PCOS, and I'm like, what is that? I know exactly about, the symptoms that you talked about. They would have missing periods for a very long time. They would have some hormonal food changes. Definitely. Not too many have too much hair that I know about. Might have been in places that I don't see, but maybe have too much hair things. But I do remember this being an ongoing, constantly going back and forth to the doctor. So it appears that although we are we are more advanced in the medical field than before, there's still some things that we still seem to have to fight with our doctors about, right? Is
Yeah.
PCOS one of those things? Do we have to demand to be tested, or are doctors making this now part of their exams?
Honestly, it's really tough because I primarily see these women, and I speak with a lot of women through social media who experience PCOS too. And it takes years for the average woman to actually get diagnosed with PCOS because it's basically a syndrome of rule out. So, missing periods, it doesn't necessarily mean PCOS. It could mean other conditions like hypothalamic amenorrhea. There could be, other conditions causing it. So by the time they rule these out, then we officially get that diagnosis. But a lot of women are poo-pooed, unfortunately, when they go to their doctors. Oh, you're just tired. You have a lot on your plate. Oh, you've been eating too much. That's why you gained weight. Or, just kind of thrown for a loop. So I really encourage people, you know your body better than anybody else. So truly just advocate for yourself. If you're not feeling well, ask, go to a different doctor. But I will say, when it comes to diagnosis with PCOS, it's important that you go to either an OBGYN or an endocrinologist. Those are going to be the two specialists that will help to diagnose you.
Wow. You're on mute, Sancha. We want to hear everything that you have to say.
As you're talking, I'm trying to make sure you don't hear me call. With that being said, can you tell us a little bit of how you have been affected by PCOS? Share some of your experiences with the audience.
Of course. So I actually was diagnosed with PCOS around age 18, 19, around there. So I've had it for quite many years, longer than I've been a dietitian. And at that time, the reason that I knew I had come off of birth control because I was having a lot of crazy symptoms, and I didn't end up having a period for over a year. I ended up with severe acne as well, which led me to go to my doctor. And at that time, I was on my way to doing my first degree, which is in biology, pre-medicine. So I was always very interested in science and kind of did a lot of research on my own to help diagnose myself. And luckily I had a really good doctor who was able to get the diagnosis fairly quickly. But at that point, once you get the diagnosis, that's where the hard part comes because there wasn't a lot of support back then. There was no social media at the time. There wasn't a lot of websites or advocacy groups at the time. So again, it was a lot of just, self-learning and things that I've taught myself, and obviously going through a dietetics degree and learning nutrition over the years, I really honed in and, come up with key protocols that can help, reverse these symptoms that are so debilitating with PCOS, to the point where now I have normal hormones, regular periods without medication, and I'm living, a very healthy life.
Wow. So interesting, and I'm glad that you were able to kind of get through that journey. I know the journey will continue, but I'm glad that you were able to find some balance within yourself, because I'm sure that within itself is just, for a simpler word, just annoying, irritating, frustrating. It's probably the better word. Is looking at my own age and looking at some of the ages that this has occurred through some of my friends, is there a certain age where we are finding females are being diagnosed with PCOS?
Yeah, so it definitely can happen in our reproductive years, right? So you could be diagnosed once you go through puberty all the way up until, menopause. However, I will say even if you are going through menopause and you've had PCOS, you still have to worry about risk factors like increased risk for diabetes, endometrial cancer, heart disease. So even when you stop having a period, you still have to worry about PCOS. But typically in those reproductive years, however, newer research is showing us that even in utero, we can see some signs of genetic abnormalities leading to PCOS. And this is probably a shocker for many people. There's newer research showing that PCOS can occur in men, even though they do not have ovaries, but they can have some of those hormonal shifts that they are kind of leaning towards like a PCOS type diagnosis. So that's like really new research. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably an answer to a lot of things that we're wondering what is going on.
Exactly. So I understand that there is no cure for PCOS. So what would be the best way to reduce your symptoms, or what are some of the things that one should avoid if they have PCOS?
Yeah, so the most important thing, if you are not having a regular cycle, it's all about trying to get that cycle back. And there are certain drivers that can kind of cause these hormonal fluctuations. One in particular is insulin resistance. Another one is inflammation in the body. So treatments are targeted to really help drive those things down. Now, there are medications that your doctors might offer you. For example, metformin is a very common medication used for insulin resistance to help drive the insulin levels down, which helps to lower testosterone, which then helps to improve the symptoms. Some doctors may offer you birth control because, again, that kind of resets the hormonal balance to help induce a period. But if you're trying to do it a bit more naturally, which you should always talk with your healthcare provider about what is the best course for you. What I always encourage people to say is, when it comes to nutrition, really focus on protein rich and having a good quality breakfast. That can kind of really help things along the way. And it's an easy tip. And then really try to get more color on your plate. Because like I said, inflammation is a big driver of PCOS. We really want to focus on getting more antioxidant rich foods, more anti-inflammatory foods. Things like all of your greens, your dark orange, your dark purple vegetables, because those are loaded with antioxidants. So I encourage people to get about 2 different colors on their plates to really kind of increase those nutrients, and stress management. That was like a big thing for me. I am a type A personality. I like things to be just so. So I really had to learn to kind of let go and work on that, because that helped to drive a lot of those stress hormones down, which helped with a lot of my symptoms too.
So I invite the audience, if they have any questions, to definitely, put them in the chat so we can definitely ask you about those different things. But what is real interesting for me is the whole, of course, dietary portion. I think part of that is, how can we be consistent? It sounds all good. Put colors on your plate, do your blueberries, keep the antioxidants.
Right? As you're saying it, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, this is my hope for me every single day. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, Sancha, reset. This is what we're going to do. Right. But it's difficult.
Cool. But how do you, because I know a reset is not always the best thing for your body, right? It kind of just continues to put it in shock. You start to clean it up and then you shock it again. You start to clean it up and eventually your body is just going to be like, this is not good. Like, how can we stay consistent with that nutrition part? And also don't think that because we've ate good for a week, we should be seeing a difference, because that definitely is.
Yeah. So, I mean, whether it's PCOS or just kind of you're on a journey to, eating healthy, it's all about small goals. When we think about, okay, I'm going to eat a balanced breakfast, I'm going to cook a dinner every night, and this is going to be that, and, lunch is going to be just so, and I'm going to exercise every day, you're overreaching, right? I don't do those things, so I don't expect my clients to either. Am I cooking a beautiful meal every single night? No, I'm a busy working woman. I have a husband, we have things going on. So start small. So if all it is for like 1 to 2 weeks, you focus on, I'm going to try and just get a protein rich breakfast in. That's it. Whether it's eggs, Greek yogurt, a protein shake, maybe it's like smoked salmon, or even with sherry, a sandwich, you know what I mean? Something that can be balanced, right? And that's all you focus on. And within 2 weeks, that is now going to become a habit. And then you can start with something else. You know what? I'm going to try and get dark leafy greens in my diet 3 days a week. And you know what? Monday, Wednesday, Friday works good for me because, those are the days that work for me. So try not to think it has to be all or nothing when it comes to nutrition. And that's one thing I really preach with all of my clients. There's a time and a place for carrots, and there's a time and a place for cake. You know what I mean? It's all about balance. Am I going to eat cake every single day, every single meal? Of course not. I'm going to feel bloated, low energy. My blood sugar is going to crash. I'm just going to feel awful. But having those things once in a while is totally okay. There's no problem with that at all.
Yeah. Go ahead. We have Tanya Cheeseman. Go ahead, Sancha.
Tanya Cheeseman says, Courtney, I wish I knew about you earlier in my journey. I have been through a lot over the past 5 years. How can people be made aware of your service?
Well, Tanya, my heart goes out to you. I understand your struggle. I am here to help. So I'm very active on Instagram. So you can kind of follow me there at pcos.nutritionist.courtney. Within my Instagram, I have a link to an application as well as more information and a lot of free kind of information and education on there too.
Awesome.
5 years, that is a long time. From Marcia Robin Patrice Bradshaw, my sister actually, I was diagnosed in my late 30s, and Marcia? I remember that. I do remember my sister being diagnosed and still not understanding what it is. And, she, now that we think about it, and the things that you said, had possibly ticked all of those boxes. And for years, she didn't know. And then got diagnosed with it. And now I have a nephew.
Right. Well, that's beautiful.
Beautiful. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sancha. Sorry.
Sorry. So how can others find out more about PCOS?
Yeah, so obviously I have a lot of information on my Instagram, so please feel free to check it out at pcos.nutritionist.courtney. But the PCOSAA.org, that is an advocacy group. They do a lot of work on PCOS, and you can get information on what are common symptoms, what is PCOS, how to go about a diagnosis, but really just making sure that you seek out support. And if you don't get the response that you're happy with by your doctor, don't feel tied to that. You can seek out other opinions. That is totally acceptable. It is your body, it is your health. So you need to be sure that you're getting the support that you need. That's really, really key.
We appreciate you, Courtney. Thank you for coming on. And definitely, I hope everyone reaches out to you for some support or some questions. I definitely wrote down your Instagram information, and I know Jamal will be able to contact you as well. But again, does not make it 2 years this time. Yeah,
I know, right? Yeah. I'll see you soon. How about that?
I like that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
So it is, are we going to do a commercial break?
I believe so, before we get into the daily play. Right, Jamal?
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Well, welcome back to the Daily Hour, and it is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0 Great Taste, No Alcohol, and Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game and stumbling up these young folks. Check out Mr. Photogenics Instagram and the Daily Hours for that. Sancha, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Sancha, I have all the faith in you. What U.S. city is known as the City of Angels?
Oh, City of Angels, Los Angeles?
No. My girl.
Like, yes.
Come on, Jamal, where's some noise?
Is Jamal, you sleeping back there?
He's sleeping on the job. Congratulations, Sancha. Yes, that I knew you would get it.
You know,
Jamal's New York.
Let's be the hater. Jamal's back to the hater.
Probably. We didn't get, let the music. I didn't even give you hints this time.
Not a countdown, no music, no cheering, nothing.
But we might just be able to say, because he's back there, it might be a little technical glitch. We're gonna give him that, Sancha. Yeah. But go ahead. What's the daily? Let's do a wrap up. What's your final thoughts?
So final thoughts are, there are so many things, and I'm sure, kids are going to get to our age and like, remember when. But I enjoyed this morning doing some remember whens with you. Yeah, it brought back some fond memories on a Throwback Thursday. So thank you for that, Sherry. Light and airy conversation. PCOS, in all honesty, I didn't know there are other, other conditions that I did know about, but this one is new to me. So I actually was online looking at videos of it last night, and I was like, wow, this is a thing. So women that are struggling and need that support, and it's always good to find a support group when you're going through stuff like this, and know that you do not have to go through it alone. I encourage them to reach out to Courtney Minors because obviously she has, started this group, and you can get support for what you're going through.
Yeah. So for me, Sancha, I love a throwback. I love that feel, that nostalgic feel. I love all of those kind of things. And part of the question is, what do we wish that the youth would know about today or have missed out today? And for me, it's that good togetherness, if that makes any sense. Just that good fun, that good time together, and kind of just having more of a carefree attitude about everything, right? As far as Courtney, this was wonderful conversation, and I'm glad that you and I both got a chance to do it with her. Knowing about the different symptoms, knowing that PCOS is definitely something that you still have to fight for, and having her as a support who has personally gone through it, and also is now dedicating a lot of time and effort to helping others is great. So make sure you check her out. Sancha, do you have some daily inspiration?
I do. If your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. And that's Dolly Parton. I feel like I lived through that. I try very hard for that to be my
Yeah. Yeah, Dolly be on it sometimes. I like that. But go ahead.
So, thanks again to our partners, Medical House, Phone Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to take over the daily hour once again. Yeah.
Today. And as always, we appreciate you. We love you and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, maybe not Sanch and I will be back together tomorrow, but one of us will be back tomorrow. She's Sancha Dorman and I'm Sherry Vanderpool. Make it a safe and great day. We out.